and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through my houseplanty wish list from 2023, talking about which plants I got, which plants I didn't, why, all that kind of stuff, and then also going through and sharing with you what's on my wish list for 2024. I'm also in a place where I probably shouldn't be buying plants. I am treating plants. I am currently on a plant ban. I am not allowing myself to buy plants until March of next year, maybe April. We will see. I'm going to try and be very, very good with my plant buying. So I'm not actually going to be like searching these plants out at the very least until springtime, but a girl can dream. A girl can have some plants that she would want to get. Ooh, really quick though, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet, so if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back, I really appreciate it. Let's get into this list. So the first plant on my wish list from 2023 was the Anthurium pallidiflorum. I only kind of realized at the beginning of 2023 that I liked the pallidiflorum. I didn't realize that it was a velvety, strappy Anthurium. And so as soon as I found out the velvetyness of it, I was like, yes, because before that, I wasn't really that keen on strappy Anthuriums. I could like kind of take them or leave them. Like I'm sure they're cool, but it just wasn't really my vibe. But the pallidiflorum has changed that fully for me. So I was able to get a hold of a pallidiflorum. Actually in June, my plant friends got it for me for my birthday, which was like the absolute freaking sweetest thing. They got me a really lovely little one that's actually like put out several leaves since I got it. But also one of my lovely subscribers, followers, sent me a bigger one as well, which I have now joined them together into the same plant. So I have one really big, beautiful, 2 plants in a pot pallidiflorum, and I am obsessed with it. I am still so glad that I have it. I think they're so pretty and cool and strange, and I love the way they hang down. I feel so lucky that I've been able to get my hands on one this year. The next on my list was the Scindapsus Dark Satin, and I didn't get this one in 2023, and I honestly don't know if I would even still consider it as a plant on my wish list. Like, I do think they're cool, but I feel like I have a lot of Scindapsus at this point, and I'm sure if one came my way in like a swap or for a very low price, I would like probably snap it up, but they're not really that attainable, at least in the UK at the minute. Like, you might be able to get one in Asia, which would be awesome, but I don't live in Asia, so that doesn't really help me. And I don't think I'm going to seek them out at all like I would with some other wishlist plants. But I do think they are really pretty. I don't know if I care as much anymore, and I think that's fine. Like, tastes change over time, like how I didn't think I liked strappy Anthuriums and then I got the pallidiflorum. I think I like this plant, but it doesn't feel like one that I like. It's not a must-have for me in my collection, so I don't think I will be carrying that forward onto next year's wish list. Then there was the Hoya Carrii Splash. I think this Hoya is beautiful. It is known for its insane heart-shaped leaves, like the big ones. They're like this big in size, and the Splash specifically is one that I still really want. I was able to get my hands on a cutting of the like plain green form, which I am super duper excited about. So it's like kind of like half a point because I got the Carrii but not the Splash. I still would really love the Splash, but I haven't really seen them around throughout the UK at all this year. That being said, I've also not been like scanning eBay and Etsy and stuff like that, where I feel like especially Hoyas are much easier to find from like private sales than they are from shops. I don't think we really have any super great Hoya, rare, uncommon Hoya shops in the UK, or at least if we do, I'm not aware of them. So if we do have some, let me know down below in the comments, because I'll be all over that website come March. But yeah, it's just not something that I have come across over the course of the year, and so I didn't end up getting one, which is sad because I would still really, really like one. Another one that I was able to get was the variegated heartleaf philodendron. I think these are stunning. It's all the joy of a normal heartleaf philodendron, or Haterasium, I think it's pronounced, plus variegation. And the ones that I really, really like of this are the ones that have kind of similar variegation to the Epipremnum Marble Queen or Marble Queen Pothos, or even the Snow Queen. I've seen some online that have like insane, like super duper white speckly variegation. It just makes my heart melt. But I was able to get actually 2 of these this past year as well. So the first one, I broke my plant ban last year for in my winter plant ban. One of my friends was selling their entire collection because they were going through some stuff and just decided that they needed to get rid of all their plants for the time being. And so they were selling off their whole collection, one of which was a variegated heartleaf, and I promptly snapped that up, and I am not mad at myself for doing that. I also had a friend who swapped with me a cutting of a variegated heartleaf, and they were both props, the one I bought and the one I swapped, and so once they were propped, I put them together in the same pot, and it is a really cute little plant. I don't think that I am doing the best for it at the minute. I definitely think I could be doing better. One of the 2 plants, I genuinely don't know which one came from which side, but one of the plants has kind of reverted, and I don't know if it is stable variegation, so I don't know if I can add more light and it'll come back or not, but the other one has that beautiful creamy speckled variegation on it, which I am absolutely obsessed with. So I am very, very glad that I got this plant. I would love to grow it bigger and better though, because it's just stayed a little bit small for me this year, which is probably mostly my fault, but alas, a girl can dream, a girl can hope, and try to get their beautiful variegated heartleaf philodendrons to grow bigger. This next one left my radar completely. I like set it in my wish list video, and then basically it was just like, nope. It is the Leah amabilis, and I do think they are really cool. I liked the sort of dark leaves on this one, but I think I'm tending to steer away from the more tree-like plants, and this one just feels very much tree-y to me. Also, I did not see it in any sort of plant shops this year. Maybe if I had seen it in plant shops, I would, when I say plant shops, I mean like online shops, I probably would have thought about buying it, but I didn't see it, and I don't think I even really want it anymore. I think it's an absolutely stunning plant, but I feel like I know myself and I almost feel like I would kill it, which I'm trying to not kill plants. That is my goal, to not kill plants. So I think I'm just going to respectfully pass on this one going forward, because I don't think I will be able to keep it as happy as I would want to. The Anthurium King of Spades was the next plant on my wish list, and I still think that they look amazing, but I still do agree that it is not an attainable plant whatsoever, especially in the UK. It is not something that is super common. It is not something that you can get for a low price. It has the most beautiful dark Anthurium leaves with a bit more of like a pinky veining in them. They're so beautiful, but I don't think I can justify spending the amount of money that they still cost on them. And so I don't know, I've also like, not that I'm over anthuriums, because I'm definitely not over anthuriums, but I feel like I love the ones that I have and I'm not necessarily seeking more out. Like, I loved my Doriaki. I thought it was really cool, but I ended up giving it to Claire because I just didn't feel like I needed it. And I kind of feel like that's just where I'm leaning towards when it comes to anthuriums. I don't need to get any more at the minute. So although the King of Spades is beautiful, I don't think I'm gonna try and seek it out in 2024. Another wishlist plant that I was able to attain in 2023 was the variegated euphorbia. I have been longing after this plant for quite a while. I always thought they look so cool, and I've seen Claire's and I'm obsessed with it, and just looking at them online, I have known that I've wanted one for a while. Even before I knew I was capable of taking care of cacti and succulents, I wanted one of these just because they are so pretty. But I would never allow myself to get one because I haven't been great at cacti and succulents until this past year. So I did get myself a big variegated euphorbia Ingens actually in October as a sort of present to myself, a good job at taking care of cacti and succulents and learning. It was my little reward for kind of achieving that goal of mine, and oh, I love it. It is way bigger than I thought it would be, and maybe not as like white or variegated as I could have potentially wanted, but I still think it is so beautiful, and I'm obsessed with the spots of darker green on them. And maybe if I put it in a brighter light, or if I can figure out how to get it into my Rudsta cabinet, which it currently does not fit in, we're working on it, then I can get it to grow a little bit brighter. So we will see with that one. Another plant on the 2023 wish list that I did not get was the Philodendron Micans variegated. I also haven't really seen them much, and I think part of the reason why I didn't get myself one is because I have some friends who purchased one as a group and then it completely reverted. But it is like the classic Philodendron Micans, which grows so well, plus variegation, which on this plant, because it's a bit more like velvety orange of a plant, it goes pink, which is quite cool. But I think I am just realizing in myself as well that I'm not as much of a pink variegation person. It's not as much my thing, which is completely fair and understandable, but I don't think I will be seeking one out. I did also just get a plain Micans for not for the first time, I've had them previously, but I've gotten rid of them for some reason or another. I did get myself one at some point during this year, and it is doing quite well. So I think that plain Micans has kind of just filled that void. I don't feel like I necessarily need a variegated one. The next plants that I was keen to get in 2023 were Alocasia zebrina and the Zebrina black stem. I kind of count them as one because they are very similar plants, and they're both like fairly attainable. At least the plain Zebrina you can get in like almost any plant shop, and I have just never bought myself one. I think I've always really wanted quite a big one, and just I could never justify spending the money towards it because they're not like super expensive, but getting a big one, it can be like 30, 40, 50 pounds to get like a properly decent chunky one, and I still struggle spending that much money on a single plant. I know I have bought plants that are more expensive than that, but it's just one that I still find difficult, and especially for an Alocasia, which they tend to generally be a bit more sensitive. It's just not something that I have ever previously got. until this year I was able to swap actually for both the Zabrina and the Zabrina Black Stem, but they were babies, little tiny little babies, and I struggled with them so much. They got so incredibly leggy. The black stem one didn't even continue growing black stems. It reverted back to a Zabrina, and I don't know how to fix that. If anyone knows how to turn the black stem back into a black stem, give me a shout, because that would be much appreciated. But yeah, I really like them, but I think the plant that I want is the nice huge big one, and I almost don't count me getting the babies as me getting the plants, because they just haven't filled the void that I have for the like big beautiful plant. So I'd say like this is another like half point. If I'm not scoring myself on whether or not I'm getting these plants, but I feel like I half covered this one, half didn't this year. I don't know where I got some of these plants on my list, because I have not seen them, and maybe it's because I've just not been looking as hard as I have in previous years, and I've been trying to be a bit more mindful with my plant spending. But the Philodendron luxurians was the next plant on my wish list, and I still agree that these are stunning, but I don't think I have seen anyone post about this on Instagram. I haven't seen them on websites, given basically the only place I was seeing them before on the website was like the Equigenera website, and I haven't been on that, I don't think, at all this year. I haven't ordered anything from them this year. So it's just, it's kind of one that I've, again, completely forgotten about, because it's not one that gets sold in the UK. I still don't count this as an attainable houseplant. I haven't seen anyone talking about it or mentioning it. So, I mean, I still would really like it. I still think they look really cool. They kind of give me Gloriosum vibes, but yeah, I haven't seen them available in the UK, and so I've not got them. I've not got one for myself, which is fine. I'm probably good for my bank account, let's be honest. The next plant on the list, you can literally see in this shot, it is the Schismatoglottis willichii. I got one of these for myself in March on my like ending of the plant ban video haul, and I love it so much. I feel like they really came into their own this year in 2023. In 2022 they were just starting to come onto the market, at least in the UK, and in 2023 I've seen them in almost every single plant shop online and in store. So I don't know where they were before that, but they have seriously started to become much more readily available this year, and I love it, and I am so glad I was able to buy myself this plant. It has been a little bit of a journey to figure out what works best for it. I definitely struggled with it in the beginning in terms of what sort of light it liked, what sort of watering. It is an immensely thirsty plant, and mine has definitely wilted and fainted down to almost looking dead a couple of times, but I have since figured things out a little bit more with it and feel a lot more confident that I can take care of it, and I am so glad that I was able to do so, because I do really love this plant, and I am so glad that I was able to attain it in 2023. In the similar vein, a slightly less attainable Schismatoglottis that I wanted was the Modeliana, which I think is cool, but I really don't know what I was thinking saying that this was on my wish list. I don't think it looks that fantastic now. It reminds me so much of like a Dieffenbachia or an Aglaonema, and I'd say at least the Aglaonemas are way easier to take care of than a Schismatoglottis, so I would definitely much rather buy them than this sort of mottled Schismatoglottis. I mean, I'm sure it would be an absolutely fantastic plant, but it's not one that I care about anymore. You can see there's such a trend of me liking these plants and then stopping caring completely about them, which, I mean, fair, tastes change, but you could, like, I feel like reflecting on this, I can really see how finicky I am, and so I'm going to try and be more aware of that when it comes to putting plants on my wish list in the future, and not just immediately putting them on the first time I see them. Maybe waiting a couple of times, seeing them a few times, seeing what's up. Hopefully they get noticed more, or like are more available in the UK, and I'll try and put those on the list rather than ones that I see once and I'm like, I need it, because I don't need it. I want it maybe, but I wouldn't call it a wish list plant until I've seen it a few times and I'm like, yes, I definitely want that. Another one that I didn't get but would still absolutely freaking love and will continue to be on my wish list in 2024 is the Hoya Wilbur Graves. I am obsessed with this Hoya. Like, oh my goodness, they are stunning with the like mostly silver but some speckles on them. Oh, I want one so badly. I'm very much a foliage gal when it comes to Hoyas. Though I have been able to see a lot of Hoya flowers this year, I feel like I'm still not in a spot where I would buy Hoyas specifically for the flowers. Oh my god, I would love the Wilbur Graves so much. And I feel like they are still definitely attainable. Like I said, I've not been buying things from eBay, Facebook, Instagram, private sellers, because I've been trying not to buy too many plants, and so genuinely that is the best place to get Hoyas. I don't know where I would get Hoyas otherwise, but I would get a Hoya Wilbur Graves in a heartbeat. And I think we're getting to the point with it where they are cheap enough that I could probably get one that's decently sized. This is where patience comes in key. The longer you wait for a plant that you like, the more likely you are to get a bigger one for a cheaper price. So I'm kind of glad I've waited on this one, but I don't know how much longer I can wait before I just take the plunge and buy one for myself. The variegated Alocasia Frydek was the next plant on my wish list, and these have really blown up this year. Late 2022, they were starting to come onto the scene a little bit more, but they were going for a very high price, and they have come down a little bit in the past year. They've definitely become more available, but still holding a pretty decent price. They're definitely not cheap by any means, but the variegation on them is so spectacular, and with the velvety, almost cartoony leaves of the like Mitchellisiana Frydek, the non-variegated one, adding the variegation in just makes it an even more surreal plant that I am so glad I was able to get this year. I did buy this one for myself in my House of Kojo haul as a sort of treat for myself at the end of the year. I feel like I deserved to get one and really give it a go. I bought myself a very small one for like 45 pounds still, so like not cheap, and I would still count it as a baby plant, but I do think they will be going down massively in price in 2024. So if you are still wanting one, I'd say maybe hold out, because I feel like the variegation is stable in them. I could be wrong on that one, but you can get them as bulbs probably for much cheaper than you would be able to buy them as a big plant. But I would love to be able to grow mine into a proper big healthy plant. It is doing just okay at the minute. It has gone down to a single leaf. I've put it in semi-hydro, and I think the transition of going into a box, getting mailed to me, coming into my home, and then moving into semi-hydro has been a little bit intense for it, so it did lose quite a lot of leaves. I feel like that's pretty expected of alocasias though, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's still got one, and it's still looking beautiful, and I hope that I can get it to keep growing next year and grow a nice big beautiful variegated Alocasia Frydek, because they're stunning. I could stare at them all day. The variegation is just so cool. I have also been banging on about this one for pretty much all of 2023. It is the fern leaf cactus. This one, as soon as I saw this plant, it immediately went on my wish list, and I do not regret putting it on there for a second. The fern leaf cactus is so cool. It's like a fishbone cactus, but like more mermaidy in its sort of like, I wouldn't call them fronds. I really don't know what to call the blades of a succulent. If anyone knows better the anatomy of succulents and wants to explain it to me, let me know. Not that this one's a succulent, it is an epiphytic cactus or a jungle cactus, but they are stunning. And I was actually able to get my hands on one in January in a swap, which was the perfect beginning, and it was just a cutting. So I popped it into some soil and it rooted quite quickly actually. I'm very proud of getting it to root, and it is now growing a bit more new growth. But I feel like this is common, like the baby one or like a propagation of one doesn't satisfy my need to have like a big, gorgeous, beautiful one. So I did end up getting another one sent to me when I did a haul from the Plant Point. They sent me a bunch of jungle cacti and succulents, and sent me a really big, beautiful fern leaf, and it was, it is still stunning. I am struggling a little bit with it at the minute because I'm pretty sure it had thrips, but alas, that is fine. I am currently treating it, hence the spots, but it is still growing pretty well, and I am quite happy with the fact that I have it. But I swear I could fill my home with so many fern leaves. Like, even now that I have, like, I guess 2, I could buy more. I think that they are so jungly that if I see like a big, huge, long one in a shop, I am so tempted to buy it every single time. I haven't, just because I'm trying to be good, but I still consider them a wishlist plant because I still would buy more. Oh, is that bad? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. The next one on the list was the Anthurium SP Silver Peru. I again completely forgot about this plant. I do think that is because it was like mostly cultivated, I think, in California. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was mostly there, and I don't have access to plants in California. I know I'm from there originally, and I go home, and I'm gonna be home. I might be home at this point when you're watching this video, but I can't really bring plants back and forth. That's not a reasonable thing for me to do, and so this one kind of just disappeared off my radar. I do think it is really pretty, but I genuinely don't think I will seek it out going forward. I don't really care. And then the last plant that was on my 2023 wish list was the Hoya SP Rangsan, which, this one is stunning. With its kind of like, I feel like the leaves are very macrophylla vibes, but all green, and then like splashy variegation, splashy silver variegation, which is primo. I could stare at these all day. I would still really love to get one of these. I wasn't able to get my hands on one this past year. I think that is fairly reasonable, again, for the same reasons I didn't get the other Hoyas. But if I were to come across one, I do think I would get it. So it is still one that I would consider to be on my wish list. So that is everything that was on my 2023 wish list. I was able to get 7 out of 17 plants on the wish list, which I think is pretty good considering I was trying not to buy too many, and considering that a lot of the ones that I had on that wish list were fairly unattainable. And I know my wish list video, I was going back and forth between things that were attainable and unattainable, and sharing both like the really cool crazy things as well as the things that I could probably find myself. And I feel like I got a mix of some that were attainable versus unattainable. Mostly the more attainable ones though. So now I'm going to be talking about my 2024 wish list. And there were some plants on my 2023 wish list that I'm carrying over. Those are mostly the Hoyas, the Hoya Carrii Splash, Hoya Wilbur Graves, as well as the Hoya SP Rangsan. I do have some more Hoyas that I am putting on the list The first one is a Hoya Polyneura Broget. I'm not too sure how it's pronounced, but it is the classic fishtail Hoya plus sort of dappled variegation. Like, tell me that this is not a stunning plant. And I honestly don't mind if it is a more highly variegated one or one a bit more on this sort of level that's a bit more dark green. It doesn't really bother me about which kind I get, because I do just think that they are stunning plants, and I love my normal Hoya Polyneura, so why wouldn't I like a bit of silvery variegated one? Like, there's literally no reason why I wouldn't love this plant. And I did have some tiny cuttings of them, but they did get flat mites this year, so I definitely have put that back on the list as something that I would love to get. Next up, which this one was kind of on my wish list for 2023. I didn't really mention it in the earlier part, but it is a Euphorbia lacti ghost. I'm not exactly sure how the lacti bit of that is pronounced, but the sort of skinnier, it's just so ghosty and cool. I think that they are so beautiful. I do have one, actually. This is my picture of my one, which I got in, April as a swap from a friend, but mine still looks exactly like that, and it's still not rooted into its little pot, so I still don't feel like I have one. Part of me wants to just buy something a little bit bigger, which I know I probably shouldn't do, but like, look how stunning they get when they're bigger, and I kind of like when they have more bits of green in them as well. It looks like it's been like chucked in a bath of milk. That sounds really weird, but I like it. I love that vibe of it. And so I would probably get myself one of these this year, maybe as my next year's reward for continuing to be good at my cacti and succulents, assuming I am still good, knock on wood. But I would love to get or grow a massive one of these. They are still fairly expensive though. In the UK, a small one will go for quite a bit, so I think that's another thing that's put me off from buying one and hoping that my little tiny one will eventually grow, but we will see. One day I will get my hands on a nice big beautiful Euphorbia ghost, hopefully. A Scindapsus that I would absolutely love to get my hands on is the Scindapsus mayari. I think that's how it's pronounced. This beautiful thing, it looks kind of like an Argyraeus that's variegated. And I love my Argyraeus. I think that they are stunning. And so if I could get one that was variegated, I would be so here for it. Scindapsus in general just tend to be quite slow growing, and so this one will cost a lot if I do want to get my hands on one, because they take a while to root and prop, and I can probably only get quite a small one, but they are so cool. And a lot of them seem to have like half moon sort of leaves, which I don't think I like as much as when it's like smaller sections, if that makes sense. Ooh, but that one looked really cool. Oh, that one's so split down the middle. And like shingling up something, which is awesome. Even if I could get myself on one that's like very tinily variegated like this one, I would absolutely love it. Oh, hey baby, you wanna come say hi? You wanna come say hi? Yeah? Come sit on my lap? Yeah, baby. Hi. Hello. Oh, maybe she'll sit on my lap for the remainder of this video. Maybe not. Either way, I want a Scindapsus mayari. I think that they're so cool, but again, quite expensive, and I don't think I can justify that purchase, but if I could possibly trade for one, I would be elated. Similarly, I would love to kind of get my hands on a variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, specifically the white variegated ones as opposed to the yellow variegated ones. Those are less my sort of style, but I do really like this plant, and they have gone down in price massively in the past couple of years. At one point they were going for something like 11 grand for like a tiny plant, and now you can get them for less than a couple hundred. I still want to wait until they're a little bit further reduced in price. That's why I haven't gotten myself one thus far, but I've seen them on more sites recently, so I think it's definitely a much more attainable plant now. But they're so easy to prop, so I really don't know why they were so expensive to begin with. I don't know, but I do think that this is one that I could probably end up getting my hands on in 2024. We'll see. We'll see. I think they're cool, but again, I'd much rather get one in a trade than buying one. One, because they're expensive, and two, trading is fun. So if someone wants to bring one to a swap and trade, or if someone has one out there that they would like to trade a cutting of for something else, give me a shout and maybe we can arrange that. But yeah, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Ooh, next up we have an alocasia, a couple alocasias actually. This first one is an alocasia heterophylla in either silver or dragon's breath. I don't really know the difference, but they are these gorgeous, like super long, skinny alocasias with super duper silvery sort of leaves. They kind of look like an alocasia platinum, but like if they skinnied it even further. So stunning. And they can grow quite big as well. There's definitely some big ones on, oh hello again. There's definitely some big ones on Instagram that I would love. And I've actually started seeing these ones in stores online recently. So I definitely think this is one that I could probably get my hands on, and maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I think that they are beautiful. Another alocasia that I would absolutely love to get my hands on is the alocasia macrorrhiza variegated. I have recently been seeing these again pop up in online plant shops. It's just like a big leafed alocasia, like, oh, kind of reminds me of my Gagiana that I used to have, which I loved. I'm so sad I don't have that plant anymore, but I think it went downhill back when I was dealing with pests, like way early this year, or even last year. I don't know. It's been a long time, but beautiful, big, leathery leafed alocasia, but variegated. I feel like the variegation on these ones reminds me of the variegation on the variegated Fridex a little bit. Oh, I could totally see myself getting one of these. They're so pretty. Oh my goodness. Yes. One day. It's one that I definitely really like and I would love to have, but again, they are more on the expensive side, and so I'm not going to be treating myself to one anytime soon. I'm not going to be treating myself to any of these anytime soon because I'm on my plant ban, but also just because it costs money, and I have so many plants already that I'm feeling quite content in my collection, and I don't really feel like I need to be adding much more in, but I also wouldn't deny myself the opportunity to get any of these. The last plant on my list is another jungle cactus. Sorry, Cleo is just like going on and off of me at the minute. But it is a variegated Thanksgiving cactus. I think that they are beautiful. Why not try a variegated version of a plant that I know and love already? Like, it almost looks like someone's bleached the tips of these leaves, which is really, really cool. I wonder if the flowers grow in variegated. I guess kind of, they're like pink and white. That's cool. But I think the variegated Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus is such a fun, cool one. I love my current Thanksgiving cactus. I'd also love to get the Christmas and Easter versions as well, but I don't want them as much as I would absolutely love a variegated Thanksgiving cactus. Like, they're just so fun and funky. I've also never seen these for sale in the UK, so maybe they don't actually exist for sale here, but I can try. If one becomes available to me, I will probably snap it up, assuming I am buying plants at the time. But yeah, and I mean, they would take a while to grow as well, so it's not the worst thing if I get a small one. But they do properly well too, so even if I get a small one, I could propagate it and get it to grow bigger and fuller. So yeah, I would love to get a little variegated Thanksgiving cactus. So yeah, that is my 2023 wish list review, as well as the new plants that I want to be getting in 2024. Lots of really beautiful things on here. I feel very glad to have received, whether I bought, traded, gifted, all of the plants that I received this year, especially my wishlist ones. And I don't know if I'll get any of these plants in 2024, the ones on my list. Who knows? I probably will get one or two, just because that's just how things work. They end up, the opportunity presents itself, it's coming my way. And I feel like I'm a lucky kind of gal. So I believe that some of them will come my way, whether it's for a good price or through trade. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up down below. Leave a comment on what's on your wish list at the moment. I'm always looking for inspiration, or if you agree to any of these being on your wish list, let me know. If you want me to talk about any other houseplanty things, also put that down below in the comments, and subscribe for more. Don't forget to keep growing. I will see you in the next one. Bye!